Hello, my name is HAPruitt, and I am the author of the Anathalian series, and I am also an editor. And this video and this video series is going to be about editing your book. I'm going to explain how to edit a book, all the stages, all the steps. Not all steps are going to be absolutely necessary to edit a book, but all of the steps will be helpful in making your book the best it can be, whether you're traditional publishing or self-publishing. A lot of them will apply to both before you even get your book to the point of sending it to query or sending it to an editor. This will help you self-edit your book to make it the best it can be. If you want to know about my editing services or the 4 types of editing, I have that in a video, and I'll put that video down in the description you can watch. If you're interested in hiring me as an editor, or you just want to know like the basics of the 4 types of editing, then you can watch that video linked in the description. And if you have any questions or if you have suggestions of editing topics, please leave them in the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the video for this week. So in this video of the editing series, I'm going to talk about giving your manuscript time and rereading your manuscript. So once you type the end on your manuscript or you finish the book, it helps to let it rest and then read over it. So first part, take time away from your manuscript. Once it's finished, once your book is done, once your manuscript is done, once the story has been finished, take time away from your manuscript. Why does that help with editing? When you write something, you feel connected to it. You pour your ideas and your emotions into it, your struggles and yourself into it. And so when you finish it, you feel strongly connected to every single word. And the less time between writing and editing, the less you'll want to change anything. So if you immediately dive back into editing, you're still going to feel really strongly connected to it, and you're not going to want to change anything about it. Not take anything out, not move anything around. You want to keep it just like it is. And the less you'll be willing to see that details really do need to be changed. So the next question is how to not get your hair stuck to your notebook. The next question is, how much time should I take away from my manuscript in between finishing it and editing it? It depends on how much you can. Some people are on a schedule, some people have to do things in a certain way, and how long the story is. If you are on a timeline, I'd say try to give it 2 weeks. Just let it rest, and don't look at it, don't touch it. You can think about it, but try not to like read over it and pick at it. If you can take as much time as you want, a month to several years is fine. I know I write my Anathalian series and then I keep writing, and each book in between writing it and going back to edit it for publishing it's like several years, and it really helps you to have perspective of what's like really good, and then all those suddenlies and justs and abruptlies that you're like, I don't need these in here. Why did I write them? And also, if you're prone to write something and never pick it up again, do the 2 weeks or do less time. I know some people will write something and then shelve it and never look at it again. Don't take a lot of time if you're not going to look at it again. But if you're like me and you really want to get back to your series and you really love it and you love it so much, take time away so you can see it from a clear perspective. And also how long your story is. If you are writing a short story, a day or 2 is enough. The longer a story is, the more you poured into it, and so the more you're attached to it. But if you just write a short story, just the less words means less in it, and so you can take shorter time. And just again, if it's a really deep story, take a little more time. If it's a lighter story, just a fun thing, you can take less time away from it. So the second part of this advice of give it time and then reread it. Read it. You do get back to it. Read it again. I know some authors say they don't like to reread their work, but you're going to have to read it, and you're going to have to read it a bunch, okay? Read the whole thing. When you get back to it, just read through it. Don't read like sections that you're like, okay, I think chapter 4 needs work, so I'm just going to read chapter 4. No, read the whole thing. Read every single word. And as you're going through, stop and fix anything that is clearly wrong. We are not all grammar and comma pros, and you probably won't catch everything, but do stop and do fix all you do find, because I know me especially, I get caught up in the story and I'm like, I don't want to check this right now. I'll just mark it and check it later. No, stop and check things and correct things and fix them as you go, or else you're just going to put it off and put it off and put it off. Stop and fix things as you go, and then continue reading. And read the whole thing again. If you find any mistake in your book, read it again. And I know some people will say, well, you're never going to stop reading it if you just read it and read it and read it until you don't find anything. But yeah, that's what you need to do. And then when you give it to your editor, they'll find more things for you to fix. But until you find nothing else wrong, keep doing this process. Read through the whole thing, every word, fix everything you find, and then read it again and read it again. And I go through my books like 15 times sometimes. I went through my last book, Less. I found like 2 mistakes on the last round, but I was crunched for publishing time and I just had to publish it, and I felt really awful. Because I didn't get to read through it again. I fixed those 2 things, but I wanted to read through it again, but I couldn't. So just keep doing that until you can't, if you don't get to a point where you can't find anything. Okay, and repeat it until you can't fix anything else. You may get to the point where you don't see anything else, or where you're just stuck, and that's okay. If you have a problem that you just don't know what to do with, you still have other things coming in the editing process that will help you, like alpha readers and beta readers and your editor and things like that, things that are going to help you. So if you can't fix something, if you don't know what's right, if you don't know the comma rules, don't worry about it. Just fix what you know to fix and what you can see. All my notes are squished together here. I take notes like a raccoon. Okay, just get to that point. I can't read my notes. It's tempting to fix what needs fixed, focus on spots, and move on, but that can lead to inconsistencies. Okay, I know what I'm saying. Okay, so read the whole thing. Like I said, it's easy to say, okay, like this chapter isn't great, and I need to just read this one chapter over and over and over again, but that can lead to inconsistencies, because if you have a big plot hole in chapter 4 and you fix it and you say, okay, I'm done, and I reread chapter 4 and now I'm done with the book, then maybe chapter 1 and chapter 8 and chapter 16 now have a problem because you changed something major in chapter 4. If you change something more than a comma or something like that, if you change something, a detail that matters to the story, you need to read over it again and read the whole thing. Read the whole thing. I know that sounds crazy, but like some authors say, I don't like to read my work and I don't want to read over it. And I know I've had editing clients who I kind of get the feeling they just go through and fix what I've told them to fix and they don't reread it again. Because then it comes back and I find things and I'm like, it's inconsistent now because I didn't read through it. You've got to read through your work when you change things in it. Okay. And why is all this important? Why is reading through your work and giving it time to rest, why is this important? Because drafting and self-editing is necessary because it helps you learn your story and notice more that needs to be fixed, changed, removed, or added. The more you read your story, the more you will notice. I know I've gotten to around like 10 or 15, and I'm like, I have this one tiny detail, this one tiny word that is totally wrong with the story and a detail that shouldn't be there, and I have to change it. And so the more you the more you read your story, excuse me, the more you read your story, the more you're going to know it, the more you're going to notice, and the more consistent you can make it and better you can make it. Because the readers will notice it on the first time. Because they're new to your story, they're learning things, and if you tell them something wrong one time, they're going to notice it. And the repetition of rereading your story will help you improve it. It's like the more you look at a picture, the more you notice. Any picture, the more you look at it, and then you see the person in the background, and then you notice the thing the person's holding, and then you notice all the little subtleties in the picture, and you start to see more and more and more. That's what rereading your book is like. You're going to notice more, you're going to fix more, you're going to make it better and better and better each time. Okay, so the next video in the series will give tips, the next videos in the series will give tips to use during this stage of drafting. So if you have any questions about this stage, when it's in only your hands and you're fixing it, ask them in the comments below, and I will do videos about that. I already have ideas, but I will take your ideas too.
Hey, wait. Sorry.
Oh, yes?
2 things. Sorry about the screaming baby. That's the result of HAPruitt's immature husband trying to photobomb with the baby. That's one. Number 2 is, I don't know if you guys notice this. I notice this. Doesn't she look hot in this video?
So that is the editing tip for this week. Please like this video, please leave a comment, please share this video with others. Please check out that video of my editing services and the 4 types of editing in the description below. And remember, this video is part of a series, so please watch the series so you can make your book the best that it can be. If you want to know more about Anna Thalian or HAPruitt, please follow me on Instagram at HAPruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, HAPruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, HAPruitt Anna Thalian. You can find me on the Facebook page, HAPruitt Anna Thalian. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name HAPruitt and the book Anna Thalian, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anna Thalian is. The website is HAPruitt.com.